I even got a picture from that weekend where I'm on the baseball field, walking, and Puffin them is like.
In case you missed it, 50 Cent just offered his opinion on Diddy's latest lawsuit and startled everyone with what he had to say. A Texas-based attorney recently declared that he is representing 120 separate victims who were all allegedly harmed by Diddy at various points in their lives. As if that weren't crazy enough, the attorney also stated that over 3,000 people had come forward to him, accusing Diddy of mistreating them for years as Aiden. To make matters even more bizarre, 50 Cent also stated that he is aware of over 50 victims. New victims who are assisting him with his upcoming documentary on Diddy, and it seems that he is going to make matters worse for Diddy, since he arrived with all the receipts to support his outrageous claims. Just when we thought that Diddy's alleged misdeeds couldn't possibly be much worse than the stuff that the authorities disclosed in his indictment, he's been acting like a full-on monster. At this point, I think we can all agree that Diddy has some Avengers-level villain energy. Records that are against him. A Texas attorney, Tony Busby, made a shocking announcement. More than 120 individuals are alleging that Diddy has damaged them over the years. We thought the 8 civil cases Diddy was facing were awful enough, but there were 120 victims? That sounds like something out of a horror movie. At a news conference, Busby said that more than 3,000 individuals have come forward with allegations, and he intends to file lawsuits in the next 30 days in many states before anybody else does. Leaps to conclusions about those who are just seeking a fast payday. The attorney said that after investing a significant amount of time, he and his colleagues had successfully settled over 120 complete cases.
The team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us, with people claiming
And things are going to get ridiculously chaotic in Hollywood if he starts revealing the identities of other people who are allegedly helping Diddy harm these victims. You can bet that some big names are involved, and it wouldn't surprise me if we started seeing lawyers trying to prevent those names from being released or pushing to keep the records sealed because some powerful people don't want to be associated with this lawsuit. The attorney provided us with more information about one of the victims was a woman who claimed to be pregnant at the time, and it was honestly terrifying. She said she went to a Diddy event and abstained from alcohol because of her pregnancy, so she should have been completely sober. However, according to her, one of her regular drinks was spiked, causing her to black out. When she awoke, she found herself in Diddy's bed, and she claimed he had so badly touched her that she was left in pain. This was allegedly another instance of a victim who wasn't a minor. Allegedly went to a group dinner in Miami with Shan Combs. She wasn't drinking because she was pregnant, but whatever she drank at the table, at least in her opinion, was laced with something. She blacked out, and when she woke up she was in the same bed in Mr. Combs' Miami mansion. She and him were both torn and sore, and I could go on. You get the idea that this is bad for anybody. But doing it to a pregnant woman is even worse. Even though it's stunning, the possibility that he could have spilled beverages doesn't really surprise anybody at this point, since it appears to be part of his routine. After all, his body is already working furiously to bring new life into the world, which is just awful. Little Rod's complaint also said that Diddy reportedly spiked women's drinks at his parties and did terrible things to them thereafter, according to Massey's lawsuit. It further showed that Diddy allegedly forced victims to take drugs before these freaks, even though they were obviously reluctant.
Instance, an individual, this time not a minor, attended a group dinner, allegedly with Sean Combs in Miami.
She wasn't initially interested in him because of rumors about how poorly he treated women, but she eventually decided to go on a date with him, during which he allegedly spiked her dream drink, according to reports. The complaint alleges that Combs purposefully left her drink unattended at the restaurant, leaving her unable to stand or walk. After that, she allegedly took a hit from a blunt at the restaurant, supposedly at Combs' pressure, and they proceeded to a recording studio. The suit claimed that when Dickerson Mill was unable to get out of the car, took her to a place where he was staying in order to seduce her, according to the filing. However, that wasn't all the harm he allegedly caused her. She also claimed in a lawsuit that Diddy had made a video of him essaying her and shared it. Days later, Devontae Swing, a male friend of Jodick, a well-known 1990s R&B group, revealed to Joey that he and other people had watched an adult tape. According to the lawsuit, Joey claims Swing was afraid his band would lose its record deal if he spoke against the adult tape. A lot of support from her fans when she filed her lawsuit, so she released a statement saying, "I'm feeling like the darkness has been lifted and I can freely move forward in achieving my full potential, but this is interesting." She also mentioned how grateful she was for the bravery of the other women who came forward, the Adults Are Survivors Act, which opened up the filing window to seek justice, and the unwavering support from her attorneys for 32 years. Due to the obvious parallels between Joey's case and Cassie's. There is no doubt that Diddy coerced Cassie into entering into a relationship against her will. She also claimed that he would trick her into giving birth, essaying her, or pimping her out to other men while he watched and recorded everything. In fact, 50 came out and disclosed that Diddy used to send out the videos he took of Cassie with other men over the phone and _ after the maid _ right, and be like, "Actually sent me the." Furthermore, after Cassie's complaint, a lady by the name of Joey Dickerson has recounted similar stories with other women who have accused Diddy of sexual assault, some of which date back to the early 1990s. Neal accused Diddy of that in the early 1990s, claiming that in 1991, when she was a college student, Diddy had recorded it without her knowledge. Joy claimed that the incident occurred while she was a student at Cruz University, and that Diddy had been making advances toward her. "Girl moves away from my boyfriend. Upgrades _ It turns out that Diddy did this to other women as well, and it's just disgusting." However, as was to be anticipated, Diddy's attorneys refuted Joy's claims, claiming that this last-minute action is an illustration of how a well-intentioned statute can be thrown on its head. The 32-year-old Miss Dickerson's story is untrue and made up. She accuses businesses that never existed, and Mr. Combs never met her. This is all just a money grab. According to Diddy's lawyers, are going to have to come up with something better than that because it's the same events they used with Cassie's lawsuit. Initially, they claimed Diddy wasn't admitting guilt, but surprise, he agreed, so it's unlikely that their claim will have the desired effect. And guess what? Joey's lawsuit wasn't the only one. Another bombshell came when a woman known only as Jane Doe accused singer Aaron Hall and Diddy of allegedly essaying her and her friend. When they invited the ladies to an after-party at Aaron's place, Jane Doe revealed that they had all met at an event hosted by MCA Records, according to her Aeon, and that night they were very charming, offering drinks and charming. According to reports, while at Hall's apartment, Jane Doe was offered more drinks and coerced into being intimate with Combs after Combs finished his business. Jane Doe lay in bed, shocked and traumatized, while trying to get dressed. Hall allegedly entered. I mean, those are pictures of girls, not the _ that you guys saw. Worse. Wow, are you kidding me? Why like penetration pictures? And come on, 50 Cent told Diddy what was going on when he called him. And 50 could tell from Diddy's response that Diddy was the one who had been sending the videos around. I really kind of felt like those photos weren't happening because of Cassie. I felt like it was happening because of Puppy, right. Oh wow, you know. It appears that Cassie had this woman's back, because her lawyer commented on the matter, stating that in his experience handling sexual assault cases, it is common for additional victims to come forward once the first brave survivor makes public allegations concerning a high-profile perpetrator. Diddy is again disputing the lawsuit and the allegations it contains, and his lawyers handled the entire thing about how the women are only trying to shake Diddy down, and everything his attorney said was that because of Mr. Coles's wealth and notoriety, he is a prime target for unidentified accusers who willfully lie about him in order to deceive others for financial gain. The legislature of New York, the public should be skeptical and not jump to conclusions about these false claims, because the pregnant victim appears to have been right when she said that Diddy had spiked her drink during the party. Surly did not intend or expect the Adult Survivors Act to be exploited by scammers. Be his signature move. But y'all, things get worse, because according to page 6, one of the 120 victims who came forward claims that, when Diddy allegedly assaulted them, they were only 9 years old. This is beyond sick. According to page 6, attorney Tony Busby said that, at the age of 9, the victim was taken to a Bad Boy Records audition in New York City. Other boys were also there to audition, and everyone was hoping to get into TV or music. Busby claimed that the victim was promised that he would make them stars. Sean reportedly made a commitment to himself and his parents in the studio to prevent them from getting a record contract. He also mentioned another victim, who was 15 years old, who was interviewed by Diddy and his colleagues there, saying, "Even worse, days later, Combs went to the house where Jane Doe and her friend were staying, allegedly becoming enraged, and choked Jane Doe until she passed out. Combs was allegedly looking for the friend because he feared she would tell the girl he was with at the time again." All of this supports what Cassie said. The room pinned her down and forced her to be intimate with him. However, it was worse than that. According to reports, Diddy and Aaron then took turns to speak to her and her friends simultaneously. Reported that Busby stated that numerous claims involve violent SA-facilitated sex and the distribution of controlled substances through video recordings. This is just sick on so many levels, but it's not the first time Diddy has been accused of allegedly sexing Aaron. In fact, a lawsuit filed by Jane Doe against him last year claimed that he and some of his friends sex abused her in his music studio. She also claimed that Harvey Pierre had picked her up at a bar on Diddy's behalf. According to reports, Harvey Pierre, the former president of Bad Boy Entertainment and Bad Boy Records, is accused by the law firm that filed the case in the New York Supreme Court of grooming an unnamed assistant for the plaintiff's sexual orientation for a year, culminating in the plaintiff's sexual orientation. Harvey also faces SA allegations from this period of time, despite Pierre's repeated protestations in New York City and other parts of the nation. An official from the corporation issued the statement. I guess it wasn't entirely shocking that Harvey Pierre was named in the lawsuit, but back to the lawsuit itself. The documents went on to say that Mr. Pierre was third as salient, and another gentleman then escorted the high-ranking official. They claim the allegations are from many years ago and were never brought to the company's attention. Both the plaintiff and the executive are current company employees. We are currently investigating their allegations. The schoolgirl was transported by private jet to Tarboro, New Jersey, where CVs were waiting for them. The four of them were then driven to Daddy's house recording studio, which is renowned for being owned and run by Mr. Combs and a bad boy. During their stay at the studio, Mr. Combs and his associates, including Mr. Pierre, plied Miss Doe with drugs. As the night went on, Miss Doe, then 17, became more and more altered to the point where she could not have agreed to having intimacy with anyone, much less someone twice her age. He then went to the studio. After the third sale was completed, Mr. Pierre took his turn and forced her to give him action, during which Miss Doe was choking and gasping for air. Mr. Combs essayed Miss Doe, the third selling of Mr. Pierre in that order. Mr. Combs complained that he could not get off unless she pinched his apples as hard as she could. Mr. Combs then watched on as a third assailant, whom Miss Doe had not even realized had begun, Miss Doe, and she told him to stop, has shocked everyone to their core, and even now, supporters are still in disbelief that he could have done something so cruel to anyone, much less a minor. The fact that he spilt drinks and made his victims use harsh and illegal substances only serves to confirm Cassie's right to be the first to expose the brutal ways in which Mr. Combs provided Miss Venture, and the copious amounts of drugs prior to Miss Venture suffering the consequences of being given Easy B marijuana and alcohol in excess. The Fed stated the same thing in their indictment documents, writing that freakouts occurred regularly, sometimes lasted multiple days, and frequently involved multiple commercial sex workers. During freak-offs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part amounts during FOs, which allowed her to disassociate during these horrific encounters. It became commonplace to get IV fluids in the days after a FOO to recover from the excessive substances pushed upon her. Combs recorded videos of victims having sex acts with commercial adult workers after freaking off Combs sometimes. But 50 Cent claims that there is yet more to come. There is a special place in hell for you and Diddy because, I'm sorry, but man is a monster. I don't give a damn about what he did. Ninjas shouldn't ever have to see the light of day again. And 25 of Diddy's victims were children. Oh my gosh, the youngest of whom was years old. This attorney just said that Diddy's youngest victim was years old. Get all those B's and get everybody that was ever at a Diddy party too. This is freaking sick. That's it, put the bastard in jail. I'm sickened. When you betray a child's trust, it hurts differently than when you hurt an adult. It's all wrong except for a 9-year-old. R. Kelly did the same thing. This is crazy. You guys are shaken, but I need to know how you feel about it and Diddy's exposure. Tell me how you feel, and then watch the next video.